Democrat-controlled cities have shown that Democrats plan and what they plan for America. If left-wing Democrats can't run a city, why on earth would you let them run your country? In Chicago, the mayor literally raised up the drawbridges to prevent hordes of rioters from ransacking the city. This is the future that Joe Biden plans to bring to every city, town, and suburb in our nation.
Wait, Sam, I'm confused. He's been president for 4 years, and he said that he was going to take care of the, quote, American carnage, and it's interesting. When Donald Trump became president, crime was at a 50-year low. No, it's not. 4 years in. Are you safer today than you were 4 years ago when Donald Trump talked about American carnage? No, you're not. Is crime lower than it was 4 years? No.
Carnage.
No. Are you better off economically than you were 4 years ago? If you're really rich, you are. But if you're working class or middle class American, you're probably not. Do you feel safer than you did 4 years ago? No. More secure? No. No. So he's actually, this is awesome. We got a president of the United States that says he alone can fix it and he's mighty and powerful. And this Article 2 gives him ultimate power. He can do it. He's practically a dictator. He has complete control. He's blaming mayors. He's president for 4 years. And after promising to take care of, oh my gosh, the hordes of immigrants that were crossing the border. By the way, that was at a 50-year low as well until Donald Trump became president. And crime, he's going to take care of crime. He alone could fix it. Remember that? Yes. He alone. No, actually, he didn't fix it. He made matters worse. And now he and his son-in-law are trying to blame local officials for what the president of the United States just can't do.
Yeah. Okay. That was President Trump yesterday during visits to two battleground states, blaming Democrats for the recent surge in violence in a number of major U.S. cities. Joining us now, the mayor of Chicago, Democrat Lori Lightfoot. She took part in a panel discussion with former Vice President Joe Biden on racial justice during night one of the Democratic convention. And you pretty much said that Donald Trump is carrying out a full-on assault of the integrity of the November election. First of all, do you think he can? Do you think it's possible? Because I know that there are many who are rushing back to Washington, trying to get the money to the Postal Service, but I'm still worried that he actually could. And if so, how?
Listen, I don't think we can put anything past him. You've seen that he can't win the straight-up way by actually having the better ideas and motivating people to vote for him. So he is absolutely launching an assault on the postal system. My sister's a postal worker, and the horror stories that she's telling about what's happening, how they're taking machines that process the mail out of her facility, how they're reducing the hours of postal employees and creating fear among the workers there. That's just the Postal Service. But what he's also doing is creating a level of chaos that makes people fearful. But let's start with where it really begins this year, and that's the incredible failed leadership on COVID-19. Why are we meeting virtually as a convention? Why are our schools not open? Why are our sports teams not able to play? Why are we not able to resume a life that we all know and have come to cherish? It's because Donald Trump refused to recognize the incredible pandemic that came to our shores. He's failed miserably, and literally people have paid for it with their life. So, yes, we must turn the page in November and move to a president and a vice president who can take us out of this historically dark time.
Mayor Lightfoot, it's Willie Geist. Thanks for being on the show this morning. I want to give you a chance to respond to President Trump, who invoked your name a couple of times in different appearances yesterday on the campaign trail, as we just played. What do you say to him when Americans look at pictures of Chicago, stores being looted still all these months later? What are you doing in your city to restore order and to stop some of the chaos that we've all seen on TV?
Well, luckily, it's minimal. But yes, we do absolutely have our challenges. We have people who are afraid and scared because of COVID-19. We now have literally tens of thousands of people who are unemployed because of the economic downturn occasioned by the shutdowns that were necessary because of the president's failed leadership on COVID-19. And we're dealing with the reckoning across Chicago, as in many cities across the country, related to systemic racism. So we are on the front line of an incredible moment in our civic history, not only in Chicago, but across the country. And I have to say, the remark about the bridges, one of the bridges that we put up is near Trump Tower, because our protesters and vigilantes would love nothing more than to attack Trump Tower. So those little notes that I get from Eric Trump after every time that we protected that property, if they want us to stop, say the word.
So, Mayor Lightfoot, what about the gun violence in your city? It continues. Another terrible weekend. Just yesterday, a 13 and a 14-year-old were shot. They're in critical condition. A 9-year-old suffered a graze wound to his head. We've heard for now years and years and years about guns coming in from Indiana. We know the gang problem is bad there. I guess the question is, if we've known all these things and they continue to persist, why haven't leaders like yourself done more to stop it? Why does it continue in Chicago?
Well, look, we can't stop things that happen outside of our borders. 60% of the illegal guns that come into Chicago every year are from out of state, from Indiana, from Mississippi, from other states that have lax gun laws. When my people can go over the border to Indiana and buy military-grade weapons and bring them back in any quantity that they want, as long as their money is right, that's a problem. That's a problem that we need federal leadership on. Every mayor that I know has worked hard, and I'm no different, to bring peace to our neighborhoods. But as long as we have this proliferation of illegal guns that's pouring in from outside of our borders, we are going to continue to fight an uphill battle. There are things that the federal government is uniquely qualified to do, to partner with us to stop this scourge of gun violence. This president refuses to engage on those basic issues. It's still a problem when somebody who can't fly in a plane can get a gun. It's still a problem when we don't have universal background checks, where we haven't closed the gun show loophole, and we don't empower the ATF to go after federally licensed gun dealers who sell to straw purchasers. Those aren't things that a mayor or a local government or even state government can contend with. We need the federal government to step up. We're doing our part, and actually, Willie, we've made very good progress over the last month in bringing down the numbers of shootings and homicides. It's not good enough, and I'm never going to rest until we're the safest big city. But a lot of that also depends on making sure that we have partnerships at the federal level to pass the kind of common sense gun control laws that we all know will make a difference in save lives and save children's lives.
Mayor Lightfoot, you say your sister's a postal worker and you're hearing of pretty big problems so far. What's your message to Republican senators, for example, because these are the people who actually could make a difference as it pertains to this issue?
Well, the Postal Service should never be a partisan issue. And it's way beyond voting, although the voting is important, and which is the impetus for this assault on the Postal Service. People depend upon the Postal Service to get their medicine, to track business, to transact business, to make sure that they're paying their bills on time. This is a huge and significant assault on one of the important pillars of our democracy. And everyone, and particularly the Republicans, have to step up and say enough. We've got to restore resources for the person.
Mayor Lightfoot, do you have a message for the looters and others who are using protests to commit wanton acts of violence that actually terrorize citizens across Chicago and also undermine the legacy of my good friend, and I'm sure yours and both of our hero, John Lewis, who constantly talked, like Martin Luther King and like other great civil rights leaders, constantly talked about the need of not being hijacked by violent actors. Do you have a message to those looters inside your city?
I do, and we've been saying it very clearly. Obviously, we need to make space for peaceful protest. That is a critical part of our American identity, First Amendment right to speech and assembly. But we draw a very sharp line against that and what we've seen, vigilantes in these crowds coming for a fight with frozen water bottles and other projectiles aimed at doing only one thing, which is attacking our police officers. We draw a sharp line against the organized crews that have looted parts of our city. We absolutely will not tolerate this. If you're involved in criminal activity, we will treat you like a criminal. We will find you and we will bring you out of the shadows and bring you to justice. We've arrested a lot of folks who crossed that line. We're coming after the looters, and we're making sure that they are held accountable in the courts of law. There's no space in our city for criminal activity. We're not going to tolerate it, and I've instructed our police department to do everything that we can to make sure that we stop it in its tracks, and if anybody dares test our resolve, we're going to bring them to justice. We're going to use the full power of our criminal justice system against them. We can't tolerate it. We're not going to let somebody unmoor the social fabric of our city.
All right, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, thank you very, very much.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.